be happy to yield to my good friend from San Diego, who immediately lurched to his feet and understands full well how important the issue of trade is, as he represents the very, very important gateway city into Latin America of San Diego. And I'm happy to yield to my good friend, Mr. Bilbray.
Thank you. I appreciate the gentleman from California bringing this item up. And Mr. Speaker, one item I'd like to discuss is the issue of our neighbors to the south. Every country in Central America has taken on the issue of free trade with the United States. And at great political risk, their political leaders have been willing to step forward and say, for the prosperity of the hemisphere, we must cooperate and work together. Not just militarily, not just through aid, but through that long-term relationship of trade. And it's sad to see that while they have the political bravery to do the right thing for their economies and for their citizens, our political system stands frozen in our tracks. The Speaker Pelosi refuses to bring forward the agreements that their leaders have been brave enough to step forward and support. And let me just
reclaim my time just to add a comment to that. Not only has there been a refusal to bring it up, but for the first time since implementation of the 1974 Trade Act, when a commitment is made to a country in good faith, with which we embarked on these negotiations, for the first time ever, after that vote was promised, we here, under the leadership of Speaker Pelosi, utilized the Rules Committee, where I sit, and it was over my protest, of course, to actually subvert and prevent the up or down vote that was promised to our very, very important allies in Colombia. And I'm happy to further yield to my friend from San Diego.
And you can imagine, I appreciate that, you can imagine the frustration of somebody that sits down with you, negotiates in good faith, the give and take, comes down to an agreement, and you tell them, go over and get your country to support it, and then we'll go over and get ours, and you go ahead and do your part. You expend the political capital. You're brave enough politically to ask your people to support a proposal. Then you turn around with your partner who asked you to agree and to move this agenda to sit there and stonewall and refuse to even allow a vote. That kind of stab in the back with our partners. And these are not partners, Mr. Speaker, that are far away. These are our neighbors to the south. These are people that not only we, but our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren are going to be living with for centuries to come.
If I could reclaim my time,
Absolutely.
Let me just add that not only are they our neighbors to the south, but they are, without a doubt, our strongest allies on the South American continent, playing a big role in dealing with the interdiction of illicit drugs coming to the United States. And I regularly point to the fact that there is no country in modern history that has gone through a greater transformation for good in a 5-year period of time than Colombia. And the reason is that under the leadership of President Uribe, he has not only taken steps to demobilize the FARC and the paramilitaries in his country, but he also has made great steps towards dealing with the labor issues. And tragically, there have in the past been labor killings, and there have been problems that continue to exist in Colombia. But he's been so helpful with us, and we do know that on the South American continent today, there are leaders who are not only not friendly to the United States, but are subverting the cause of freedom. And we know those leaders, Rafael Correa in Ecuador, Evo Morales in Bolivia, and of course Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, Daniel Ortega in Nicaragua. We are seeing very serious problems here, and yet we have this important, strong ally dealing with these issues. We promised them that we would have a vote so that we can create good American jobs for Caterpillar's workers, for Whirlpool's workers, for the other small businesses that exist. And that's why I think it is very, very important that we, continuing to hold up our tradition of supporting our global leadership in trade, continue to do that. And I'm happy to further yield to my friend.
I think Colombia is a good example. Somebody who was brave enough to take on the drug cartels, was brave enough to take on the extreme leftists in their continent, and brave enough to be an American ally, and then for us to stiff-arm them and to basically punish them, it appears, for being a friend. Who in the world will want to risk themselves of being an ally of the United States? This is the example we're setting. And moving on from Colombia, Panama is really a time-sensitive issue. Mr. Speaker, while we sit here today, Panama is moving forward with an aggressive program to rebuild the Panama Canal, one of the greatest, if not the largest, capital expenditure that Latin America has seen in our age. We are sitting on the sidelines while Panama is moving and looking to build this new project. And can you imagine at the turn of the last century if America had sat back and allowed other countries to be able to take advantage of the economic opportunities, if Teddy Roosevelt had ignored the challenge of Panama and Central America, where we would be today and how history would be different. Today, the Panamanians are building the canal. They want to buy Caterpillar equipment. They want to buy John Deere tractors. They want to see Bechtel and American companies come down there. They want to create American jobs because they want to have a pro-prosperity zone down there working with us to build the new canal. While they're ready to move forward, our political system in this city is stiff-arming that again, freezing the item, and doesn't have the political bravery to do the right thing and allow a vote on a proposal that they were brave enough to move forward to. So anyone who's listening to us who are looking at those factories that could be buying tractors, bulldozers, equipment, could be getting the contracts for the canal, just remember, it's your political giving people from Iran, giving the rest of the world the leg up to get jobs out of the Panama Canal while Americans are being obstructed.
Speaker,
and I yield back to you, gentlemen.
I thank my friend for